Hey guys, so it is the Super Bowl right now, the Patriots versus the Eagles, and while I don't follow sports personally, I do know that it can get quite violent when putting the two teams head to head. Which reminds me of another time when things got a little violent by accident when I accidentally broke my friend Larry's finger. Now you see, around this time, him and I had just made this really fun fort, which was basically based around collecting all sorts of trinkets from this one place in his woods. These included glass bottles, to tires, to miscellaneous scraps of metal, all sorts of stuff. You see, there was this weird junkyard on the outskirts of his property that we found one day and of course went to town with. We would go down and we would pick up all these tires, and we had binoculars. We would try and see these nice blue bottles and these rusted pieces of metal and stuff like that, and we would just kind of play with those throughout our days. You see, something else though that we played with while we were on the outskirts of his property were these brick pillars. You see, they were kind of broken down bricks that were just cemented all together in the middle of nowhere. We, of course, didn't know what they were for, so we decided to take it into our own hands. And so what we did was we decided to smash them. You see, we really liked going out and kind of making things, being real hands-on. So we would take some giant rocks and smash them together with other rocks in order to break them apart, make dust, that kind of stuff. Now, him and I in elementary school, we would always, whenever we wanted to go out into the playground, stuff like that, walk around and come in with literal pounds of little pebbles and rocks just in our pockets, because that's just something we did, I guess. I don't know, don't judge. But we wanted to take this to the extreme. So we grabbed these giant pieces of quartz and we would just kind of smash them down onto the bricks. The bricks would shatter, and then we would clean it off, you know, do all that kind of stuff, and take turns kind of going at this. We wanted to take this pillar down. We wanted to get rid of it completely and just kind of make it into rubble. So we tried doing just that. So Larry goes at it, I go at it, Larry goes at it, I go at it. We clean it off, then Larry goes at it, I go at it. This is where it gets bad though. So we're kind of in the moment. We don't really know what's happening. We just know that we gotta go for this. So we're smashing it, and then it seems like it's kind of building up too much dust and brick rubble is building up. So we go to try and clean it. Now, of course, we're really careful about this because we don't want to hurt each other, stuff like that. These are huge rocks that we're just kind of throwing down at the ground. So, of course, Larry goes to try and clean it, and I'm in the heat of the moment, like I said, and I kind of just throw it straight down onto his finger. Now, you know those moments when like something may be happening and you notice in the last second, but it's too late to stop anything? Like you're looking at yourself as you're doing it and you're like, stop, but I can't stop. So I saw that. I saw Larry put his hand down onto the brick to, you know, brush it away. And I took this rock and just kind of was throwing it. I was like, no. Oh God, what have I done? And I kind of just threw it straight onto his finger. And it did not work out. You see, it was a direct hit straight onto his finger. And in the moment, we didn't really know what to do. From my perspective, I just kind of threw something on there. I'm hoping that it's not that bad. It landed straight on his finger, but I mean, he's pretty quiet at the moment, so I'm sure it's fine, right? So we have that kind of split second of just like looking at each other, and then it happens. I can only imagine it from his perspective, the pain that just happened, because I pretty much shattered his finger. So we start to scream, and we yell, and we cry, and it's just a bad, messy situation. And then his family comes out. His mom and dad come running out to us, and we're in the woods, so they come all the way down, and they're like, what happened? And I was trying to explain that, so we were smashing these rocks, and I accidentally smashed it onto his finger, and we both are tearing up, and we're both just having a bad time, and I mean, he's having probably a bit worse than me. But it's just not a good situation. He is in pain, so his father picks him up, takes him back with him, and then I'm just kind of left there, having to try to explain what happened. I'm saying that I am so sorry, and that I didn't think that this was going to happen. We were just playing around, all that kind of stuff. It was an accident. But, needless to say, his father takes him, and they have to drive to the hospital to make sure his finger's not broken. So they leave, they rush out of there, but then I'm just kind of left there, and I remember this very distinct point where they all went inside, Larry drove off, and then I was just kind of standing there in the yard like, now what do I do? Cool. Now, I don't live that far away, so I was just like, I could just walk back. Of course, I didn't want to do that, and I wouldn't have done that because I was terrified of going down the street. But still, I was just kind of left there and was like, okay, cool. So I'm going to go. Can someone drive me home, please? That would be great. So Larry's mom drives me home, and she explains to my parents what happened, why I was being brought home real early. And yeah, I didn't see Larry for the rest of the day then. Thing is, I did see him the next day. We were at school, and everything seemed fine, you know. From what I could tell, at least on the outside, he didn't look mad at me, so that was nice. Still don't know. But, so he looked fine, except for the finger splint that was down on his hand. I remember it was bright blue, and I saw that, and I was like, that's my fault. Whoops. So his finger was broken, probably on account of me throwing, you know, a giant rock at it. But for the rest of the year then, he had to wear a finger splint on his hand. And even to this day, because of the healing process, his finger on his one hand is still a bit bigger than the other one. So at least he'll always have a nice reminder of the friendship that we have and something that, oh, will never leave him. In fact, I am going to message him and see if he remembers it. Hey, so hope everything's good. Hope you're enjoying the Super Bowl. Anyway, so remember when I broke your finger? That was an experience. How do you feel about that? Ah, he responded.
Yeah, I actually always tell that story, and it's a good memory to have, but one of my fingers is definitely a lot fatter than the other one, so.
Interesting. Still though, that's the story of how I accidentally broke my friend Larry's finger and what came from it. So, if you have any opinions on this topic, make sure to leave them down in the comments below. If you liked it, make sure to show your support. If you want to see more content like this, ring the bell and subscribe. I'm Tyler, and until next time, I'll see you around.